working for Polymer. It's a German engineering service consultancy, mostly acting as a structural engineering firm, also facade. And basically, we are implementing Speckle and Polymer because we have the need, due to this diversity, this fragmentation of our software ecosystems, to first of all increase efficiency, but secondly also work closer together with others. And Speckle is the solution for us, and I will introduce the thing.
Well, my name is A.Rynne. I noticed we missed a presentation slide, but I'm a software engineer at Speckle. I've been there for 3 years developing open source software to enable interoperability between different softwares in AC. The ones that know us already know what all of this is about, but the ones that don't, we're going to run through a quick presentation of what is Speckle, and then I'm going to let Alex get into the interesting part of how is Speckle useful, which I think is the more important aspect. So just a quick overview of where we're coming from now. Speckle is originally a PhD project from our founder, Dimitri. Started in 2015 in UCL and grew organically with a community of people that just discovered the Rhino plugin and the Grasshopper plugin that they had at the time. And kind of like by the 2018, 2019, Dimitri started picking up that some pretty big players were interested in what was going on in Speckle, so which led to the creation of Speckle as it exists today, which is a private company, obviously for profit, developing open source software for AC. So the company started as just Matteo and Dimitri, but now we are a multinational, fully remote team, spread pretty much around Europe with a US attachment to the side. And we've basically been trying to tackle the main problem in the AC industry, which is that it is extremely fragmented. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of software that each of us use on a daily basis on our studios, and they're definitely not integrated well, if at all. It's also dominated, it's an industry dominated by software monopolies, and most of the solutions that we currently have are legacy software that was invented in the 90s, early 2000s, and has grown into the productive workhouses that they are today, but also that means that it comes with a lot of baggage. If anybody has used Revit the last year, they would know. So with this as to our solution, our mission is to make the AC industry better. And in order to do that, we are trying to tackle it in kind of like several different aspects. The first aspect, and it's where Speckle basically comes from, is trying to fix interoperability by what we call our connectors, which are pieces of plugins, pieces of software for each individual application that communicate and translate that application-specific data to non-application-specific data that can then be shared further. Then, once you have that data that is non-application specific, you kind of need a place to put it and a place to share it. So we developed a website and a server that runs all of the services, that enables collaboration, not only about sharing rights, but also real-time communication about changes. And the next layer, which is what we're currently developing right now, and if the video works later, I will show you a bit of it, is a layer of automation and a proper developer platform to enable people to build on top of Speckle, so that everything that we've done not only benefits us as a company to build services around all of these concepts, but also anybody else that wishes to grab some or all that we build open source and do something different with it, or build on top of it a new application that we don't target, or a new use case that we don't have the time or the money to pursue. in essence, what it ends up boiling down to is a web platform that has a collaborative real-time 3D data as its first kind of use. So there's a 3D viewer where you can inspect all of your data that you've sent from different applications, federated into a main model that has like a model from Rhino, model from Revit, something from AutoCAD being pulled in, and essentially allow you to have control over how you organize that data into different conceptual boxes, but also who has access to it and how you can use it. You know? Once your data is in Speckle, you can also visualize it in your phone, or basically you're free to build on top of that information. Which takes us to kind of like the next point, which is what we're currently pursuing, is a way to, once you have that data, run automated functions and changes on top of it. So you could run carbon checks on your latest building design, run some specific standards check for your models to ensure that they have specific properties or they don't have other properties, and kind of like ensure that the quality of your data is up to your standards. But also think like more kind of like down-to-earth things like getting a bill of materials and a quantities report from a building, you know, which is something that we have to do thousands of times, and it's time-consuming, and it's something that is easily automatable if you manage your own sets of data. This is an example of an integration that A.Rynne did. This one is kind of old, but it's quite a neat one. It basically allows you to send a Revit model into Speckle, and they have their own application with their own server that picks up on that via webhooks and runs a carbon analysis on the entire building design and publishes back. So they have this nice website where the entirety of the company can view what is the carbon cost and the carbon change of different design options without actually having to physically run the carbon calculation yourself. You're just pushing things to Speckle and things happen for you, and you get notifications when they're done, so you can go see them. You don't have to block your computer for like 3 hours until the thing has done. And we also have comments and kind of like real-time collaboration and communication that is also highly, I will say this, it's also highly customizable. So right now it's very basic interaction, but it allows you to kind of like the BCF standard, flag specific problems in specific objects, specific selections of objects that you want somebody to look at with a specific camera viewpoint, and kind of like let you position yourself wherever somebody said, hey, this knot or this wheel or this bolt is wrong, you should change it. So everyone knows what you're talking about. And this happens in real time, so if two people are looking at the same model in Speckle, you will see what a bubble for the other person, and you can kind of like go see where they're looking. And we have plans of improving this way more. Well, that being said, I think this is what interests us the most in this conference. How can you actually use it? You know? As I said, Speckle is open source, so we developed a C# and a Python SDK, but Speckle is also a server somewhere on the internet that we are deploying that uses GraphQL and REST APIs, and we also have other packages and other layers of what ends up being the Speckle product that we deliver that are also open source. So it's just the UI that we use in all of our plugins, the viewer as a viewer alone, and we're building on top of other technologies that are common, like webhooks and other things that allow you to integrate with other systems like IFTTT and other nice software as a service platforms. Everything is available in NPM, NuGet, PIP, depending on what you're looking for. And in essence, what it's all about is about being able to define your own data as a kind of like core concept that you can have like flexible objects in Speckle that represent anything you need. You can manage your data in the sense that you can control who can access it, see who's been receiving that data in other software, comment, timestamp, etc., all of your changes, and retrieve your data so that you can consume it in another application that we target or somewhere radically different that we never heard of or have no control of. And finally, just to let Alex continue, all of our open source software is developed under the Apache license 2.0, which in very broad terms, if you want more information, you can go to choosealicense.com, which will do a better explanation than I could ever do. But in very broad terms, it allows you to use it commercially, distribute your own copies of it, modify the existing code, patent your modifications on top of whatever we delivered, and use it privately without having to notify us of it. So you have total freedom of kind of like making this work for you on like the product side, but also on the money side. You can actually build services for your company that don't have any kind of like license implications because they're using Speckle in some weird way. You can kind of do whatever you want. The only conditions are that you have to give license and copyright notice of the parts of the code that are ours, licensed by us, and you need to state in your license, you need to state your changes, the changes that you've done to our code, if you've made any. And then there's some limitations of protection, but I think these are kind of common. And with that being said, you can find us in our community and our GitHub. And I'm going to skip this. And we have a bit of a domain problem obsession. So our server is in speckle.xyz. Our documentation is in speckle.guide. Our main page is speckle.systems. And our forum is in speckle.community. So hopefully you'll be able to find us one way or another. And yeah, I don't think I have access to show you the automate video, sadly. But if you want to know more about what we're cooking in automation, about automation and functions and running automatic code based on what you send to Speckle, feel free to screenshot that. And it should take you to the registration for our beta page, which is not open yet, but I've heard it is imminent. So hopefully we'll have better news soon. And I'll leave it to Alex.
So I introduced you following a Roman in the beginning, but I just wanted to mention this again. So it's our base is not just the structure engineering itself or the facade, but we are able to do the simple stuff, of course, but also the complex. This is a project here also in Switzerland and the Rolex Learning Center in Lausanne. Directly next to it, we are building now this RTS campus for the Israeli TV station of yours. And basically, we are, as you see, in close collaboration with architects. In this case, it's Sana. So it's like a very dynamic process. And you will see what I mean with that. This is just a short overview, but let's go to this thing briefly. As a design firm, we are struggling, of course, with data, like 3D data with Speckle. And this is a bit of a hijack where what I'm doing now. So this is another topic of ours, which we just wanted to introduce, but later on talk with you guys if you're interested. So we are coping also first and foremost with documents. And for documents, we all have the struggle how to find it. People are doing stuff again and again, like what you said in the coding at the beginning. So we are completely closed in our industry. And this is a platform we're developing ourselves right now, based also on open source frameworks, like React, you know it, from JavaScript front-end framework. We're also using unstructured, elastic Docusaurus by Meta. So just to get knowledge out of the people for the documents. Now to the actual topic, design flow. So basically, we are thinking that all of our processes are disconnected. We just don't think it alone, but the whole industry is thinking. But actually, we need to be connected, first of all, because it's efficiency, but secondly also because it makes more fun. So this is what we said with fragmented. So this is an example. You have made the building your stuff from the beginning. You have all the steps in between, different tools which are not connected. So, and also our tendency is we just want to do things once. The reality is, of course, we cannot wait and do it once, but it's like a duplication of work, iterations and changes. And for that, we need a change version, which we usually don't have because we are working file-based. And then, of course, with the changes, this is like we are connecting all of the tools with red lines. And this is like you're pumping the water up the hill, like this hydropower plant. You're pumping it upwards, and then you have a change. So basically, it goes down again. You're wasting lots of energy in the process. The ideal wish would be something like this. You have all connected, you know it like the grasshopper way of working. We have projects where we are doing that, but only a small portion of our people are able to work like that. And for that, we need basically something which enables everyone in our firm to do it. Something simple, something where you don't see all the spaghetti or code, but you just want to hit a button with a tool. So, the basic thing, because we are just, maybe before Speckle, it was thought about how to get there. We thought about it like building bricks. It should be something simple, like you have this pieces, you put them together, you create a process like in Grasshopper, and then you can build a smaller brick by linear Python however you want. So some people feel more confident below, they're just doing LCA reports, carbon assessment, and the other ones are going crazy and connecting all the dots together. We see Speckle basically, Speckle is an infrastructure. It can be like a Lego-based plate, something flat. It can be also like for the castles, you know it from your childhood. So basically something complex, something that you can build upon. You can build your bricks upon. And we are using Polling and Roman now, or we're getting more into this development aspect. So we're using the APIs and SDKs they are providing to basically are able to create the tools we don't get from the industry, and the tools we cannot force them to do because they're already pissed off. And when I'm writing again, do you have this feature? We have to do it ourselves, and then hopefully we can contribute to you guys. And this is the idea behind it. This is the good thing. The second aspect, which is super important for us, is data ownership. So we need to have control over what we are doing because this is our goal. When in the future we have an AI system, also this introduced it, that basically takes our data and then makes a Polling and Roman design for another design firm. This is not the great way to go. For us, it's cool to have internally to create something for our engineers. And video works. So this is, we saw the carbon dashboard by A.Rynne. This is something simple with Power BI, but it's not just that we are pushing the data in and have a workflow, but also we have a unified data structure where we can just plug in Power BI things, or we can create a React dashboard by ourselves. So we can use this to have our designs also archived, like a library. So this is what we are currently building. So some things are finished, some not. So the dashboard thing is something which can be combined maybe with this knowledge hub, with the search engine. This is the vision for us. This is something we are building this year. This below, this design assistance systems, is something which also Alan said with this automate. So it cannot just be, we see it not just as a solution to create something like a bill of materials, but we see it as something which assists us in checking things. Like as engineers, we just do the quantities of like one puzzle piece, but the bigger puzzle pieces, like what is going on with this building, this column, is there a column below? So all this iterative thinking an engineer has, that basically this platform assists us in doing it. Or maybe we have a team, a young engineer calculates it, the platform provides the data, and it says like 90% of your colleagues did it our way. So this can be the future. And what we're also doing is we are currently ramping up Rhino a bit. So this is with Clemens pricing from Caramba. So we are creating something like a Revit Lite for Rhino. So basically it behaves like, as we structure engineers, it behaves like this analytical modern Revit. And therefore we are able to exchange better with Speckle. This is the idea for us. But it's not just this efficiency, but also the communication aspect. So as a designer, we are not just one part, and we are doing the thing alone, but we have fun working together with the architects, exchange, have fun working together with MEP, and the communication is the main aspect. And what we see right now in this project is kind of decoupled of it, but because it's super complex, and if you can make it easy, and have just a conversation about the building, not about the technology and the standards, just design a building, straightforward. And this is where Speckle comes in because it's super user-friendly. It's like, even if you're not a software geek, you can open it in a browser, you can talk about those things, or you can open it up in Revit or Rhino and talk there. So this is the aspect as well. For us, it's basically a roadmap which started with Speckle in 2022. So we tried also to set up our own server to see like how complicated is this. And then basically we said like to do this commitment as we have trust in those guys and also develop stuff on it. Not sure if they will survive or not, but they're still here. We then basically started developing things together with all of the offices. So we have a few guys who are now full-time coding, so we are also not professionals, we're just improvising. But the wishes we have, or had for a long time, we're now trying to fulfill ourselves. This is the idea. And some aspects we make publicly, and others in collaborations with other firms, for example. So this is basically the overview. If you're interested in what we are doing at Modding and Chroma, you can write me here via email. You see me on LinkedIn. And our social media platforms also show from time to time, not just the designs we are doing, but also if we are releasing a plugin for Revit or also having a new project, which might be interesting to you. Okay, then thanks everyone.
I just wanted to say we're running a bit out of time, and we will see you on the panel later as well. But again, if there's one urgent and present question, just at the end, let's do it quickly.
Thank you. I'm interested to learn more about the Speckle business model, and I'm just wondering, at what stage in the process did you start to pay Speckle for their services and their hard work?
Most of the things that we've seen or shown here, they're all going to be open source and free, basically forever. The idea was for example, all of the automation parts. That's not going to be free because it needs to run somewhere. Like it will run on credits, it will run on some sort of infrastructure that you would have to pay. But the collaboration, interoperability part of Speckle is never going to be added a cost to it. All of the libraries are open source, and for all we care, you can deploy your own servers and your own plugins and your own everything, and you never have to talk about it to us at all. So in that sense, nothing that we have already published open source is ever going to be kind of like put under a paywall. We're only going to build more open source parts of Speckle, but also closed source parts of Speckle that build on top of that. But they would be kind of like separate services and separate kind of features that are not strictly eating up on the core of the idea of sharing data and freeing your data out of a specific application and kind of like allowing you to do whatever you want with it, which is kind of the point.
Yeah, that was can add something. So what I also see is like you're moving to this direction, like Elastic, for example. You're providing, first of all, this free open source thing, but also on the other end, like because also we as a firm are not capable to do all this stuff like this DevOps things. So for the setup of this platform, we can also go to you guys and then as a managed service, basically.
Yeah.
Very good question, and I think it's really relevant. And that's what I mentioned before. Also, like, you build a community first, you gain relevance and traction on the market, and then you can commercialize it in different ways. Very need-driven, and I think Bollinger Goldman is very happy to pay them. And the other way would be like because they know the value, and hopefully. Okay. But we will learn, I think, a bit more about this topic also, like how does open source work commercially. I think Matthias Kuhn and Don Westois will talk about this as well. So thank you guys, and see you in a bit on the round.